It's increasingly obvious that Nigeria.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share. And I want to ask, I thought it was only African countries complaining about the influx of illegal Nigerian immigrants. Lately, there's a whole lot going on in South Africa. Ghanaians are also complaining. Other African countries are complaining as well. But little did I know, in the UK is also worried about the rate at which Nigerians are illegally trooping into their country and are now getting worried. Sooner or later, something is definitely going to be done about it. Because it's like they are overwhelmed with the number of illegal Nigerians migrating into their country. So it looks like this issue about Nigerians distributing their population on other countries isn't going to stop anytime soon. Because not only are other African countries complaining about this, but even the UK and even Italians are also complaining, and other European countries. But I never knew the UK would also come out complaining about the influx of illegal Nigerian migrants. Let's go watch what's going on in UK and what they're talking about concerning Nigerians. But I know once it's in the news, then definitely the UK government are going to be taking a serious look at this issue. Because really, this is getting out of hand. Not only African countries, but even European countries. Let's go watch the news and we'll be back.
Hi, Is.
Hi, thanks for that introduction. You're so right about the interconnectedness of everything. I mean, we spend so much time on talk focusing on the issues that are number one of importance to the UK. And, I personally spend a huge amount of time, frankly, ranting about illegal immigration and, the mass movement of people and the loss of control of our borders. And often people who disagree with where I stand on immigration will point to what's going on in the rest of the world as a driving force for the displacement of people. And it's increasingly obvious that Nigeria is on the brink of becoming, well, first of all, it's on the brink of economic meltdown. There is social meltdown. We can go into a long list of the problems that it's facing. That has real potential repercussions for us here in the UK. First of all, we should care about Nigeria because of our historic links to the country. It's a Commonwealth country. There are very, very large numbers of Nigerians now living in the UK, nearly 300,000, so big diaspora. And what is happening there today, the utter mess that country is in, has big implications, because I think we're likely to see an increasing number of Nigerians making their way as genuine refugees, not as economic opportunists, real refugees, to the UK, where they know that there are, they've got shared language, they will be welcomed. And of course, that has implications for our own ability to absorb yet more people.
Yeah, I mean, what I think is worth pointing out as well, that when you look at Africa and when you look at the economic powerhouses, Nigeria is one of them. It dominates the economies of West Africa. It is a huge oil-producing nation as well. And like you said about our diaspora, when you look at the leadership contest in the Conservative Party taking place right now, there's a very good chance that actually the next leader of the Conservative Party will be a Nigerian by birth. And this is a very important country. I've worked in Nigeria myself. I love Nigeria, actually. It has its problems for sure. And actually, those of us old enough to remember the Biafran War will know that when things go very wrong in Nigeria, they can go extremely wrong indeed. Nigeria, like most other African countries, has oftentimes been blighted by inter-ethnic wars and people who want to seek separatism and so on and so forth. But the situation had calmed down. There'd always been an agreement in Nigeria that leadership was shared between a southerner with a deputy from the north, and then that reversed. And that is the way that Nigeria has managed to keep a hold on its functionality for a long time. But that model over the course of the last sort of decade or so has rather been eroded. But tell us what's going on today over there, Isabel.
Well, what's going on is it's only fairly recently that Nigeria had presidential elections. So the incumbent, Bola Tinubu, has only been in position since 2023. And unfortunately, having come to office on a platform of, usual story, yes, I'm going to absolutely root out corruption. I'm going to improve the economy. I'm going to make everyday life easier for Nigerians, has presided over making things quite demonstrably worse. It's been an absolute disaster with rocketing inflation. I mean, we think we've had a nightmare with inflation in our country. Currently, inflation in Nigeria is running at about 32.5%. Food inflation even higher, right up 37, 38%. That has actually left a lot of Nigerians quite literally starving. When did you last hear about famine in Nigeria? Well, it's a real thing. Then there's a whole mess over Nigeria's fuel subsidy. You talked earlier about Nigeria being very rich in resources, and here's the irony. It has all this oil and gas, and unfortunately still doesn't seem to be able to provide it at an affordable rate for its own citizens. And the president removed the fuel subsidy, but didn't put any safety net in. And, the fuel subsidy is extremely controversial, and there are many arguments for and against having it. But what you don't do is rip it away and then leave people without anything to turn to. So now you've got people who are unable to afford to heat and light their homes. And among all of this, as a backdrop, you've got rampant corruption. I mean, if you ask people in this country, what do you associate Nigeria with? Unfortunately, the answer you're likely to get is still going to be corruption. Well, that has just gone on steroids under this current administration. And also the persecution of journalists. And that is very, very sinister. That's ramped up under this administration. So poor Nigerian citizens, they thought they've got a new regime, that things will get better. And in fact, here they are, with a president who seems entrenched. And the question is there any possibility of getting rid of him? He's supposedly at the moment on a working vacation in London. That is sitting very badly with voters in Nigeria who feel, well, hang on a minute, your country's in flames and you've pootled off to the UK. We're not quite sure what you mean by a working vacation, but now, my friend, is no time to be on a holiday. So I think the sands are shifting. It's unclear when or if or how he might be displaced, kicked out, made to step down in some way. But there's an awful lot of people hoping for change.
Blimey, it's dreadful to hear that is a situation that Nigeria is in. Isabel, thank you ever so much. It's brilliant covering stories from all over the world. It's something I think we need to do more often.
Man, from the look of things, it seems Nigeria has crashed. Because if this is how it is in Nigeria, then trust me, the country has collapsed. The government has succeeded collapsing the country. Now, it's like Nigerians are looking for any ways and means to flee from Nigeria, which that is really not the best way to solve the problem, because you don't run from your problems. You sit back and correct your mistakes. If the government is the issue, if waiting for the day of election to re-elect a new government or to re-elect a new president, why not try every possible means to impeach the government so you guys can be free from what is going on in Nigeria, the mess going on, fleeing to other countries? For who to fix Nigeria? Nobody can fix Nigeria but Nigerians. And it's as simple as that. Fleeing from Nigeria is not the solution. Unless you want to tell me you no longer care and never gonna return back to Nigeria, which I know definitely will have to go back to Nigeria someday, somehow. By then, how will Nigeria be like? How will Nigeria look like? How will the economy be like? Probably might not be you, but maybe your kids, your grandchildren, or your great grandchildren are one day going to decide, no, enough is enough. We're going through too much in another man's country, so let's relocate back to our homeland. And by then, how would Nigeria look if you, who is supposed to fix it, is running away from the country? Don't you think you're doing a disservice to your children, children's children, children's children's children? And this issue, if not solved, is going to affect Nigeria for many generations. Stay back, fix your issues. Don't run from it. Running from a fight doesn't make you the winner of the fight. A word to the wise is enough. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe, like, share, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.